Well, 2 weeks later, we are here for another episode of Zany Baseball. I'm Zane,
I am Zane.
and it is great to be here as we are 3 weeks into the Major League Baseball season.
Still young.
Still young, and so young. So young.
But a lot of things have happened in the past 2 weeks. We apologize for not being able to get to you guys last week. Kind of had a busy week with my own baseball, and this week we're going to see if we can turn back on the last 2 weeks and see if we can recap those, and maybe a couple of surprising things, couple not so surprising things, but we'll see if we can break down the last 2 weeks of the MLB season for you.
Do you want to give the folks at home an update on how you've been doing?
Well, our school team is, I believe, 7-2, and we had a rainout on Thursday that was against our arch rivals. That would be the whoever wins that game has home field advantage for the rest of the playoffs. So when we started off the game, I had a base hit that got to the wall, and I scored on an error. So we started the game off 1-0. Our pitcher go out there, threw one strikeout, and that was the end of the game after a bunch of rain. Yeah, so
Zane's batting over 500 on the year for the middle school team, so it's got a pretty good start of it at the plate.
And then later today, I had my first game for rec ball for the Leland Sharks, and yeah, there's my hat. And we'll see how that goes. I think a couple people are expecting us to win tonight, but not exactly sure, how it'll go. Haven't had as many practices as I think we'd like to have, but I think we'll do all right. It's a rec ball. It's a rec ball league.
Yeah, we'll get after it. We'll see what happens. Game 1 for the Leland Sharks tonight.
Yeah. Well, how about we talk some big league baseball?
Yeah, I think all 5 of our subscribers want to hear about big league baseball. We might have 10 by the time this is over. You never know.
And maybe we should admit it to little zany baseball. Okay. Anyway.
This week in rec baseball.
Oh gosh. Anyway, so where do you want to start with? There's a lot of stuff that's happened in the past 2 weeks.
Well, I mean, I think you want to talk about teams. Let's talk about, there's 2 teams that have really asserted themselves at the start of the year, and that's the Chicago Cubs and the Washington Nationals. Both of them have gotten off to a fantastic start.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them have 14 wins after three weeks in the year, and they're really the 2 teams that have started like gangbusters.
Yeah, really. I mean, the Washington Nationals, they just keep pounding them back. They had a tough game yesterday. I think it was either 15 or 16 innings, and Bryce Harper comes in, pinch hitting, hits a game tying home run to get him back in the game, and a bunch of extra inning runs, and then finally they just put the icing on the cake and walked it off. And he's leading the league in home runs.
Yeah,
right?
9 home runs after 3 weeks. I mean, he is definitely back after it after an MVP performance last year. He's gotten off to an extremely fast start again, and he's only 22 years old, 23.
Yeah,
he's
young. He's going to be
really
around
good.
for a while.
He's really good. I mean, I don't know if you remember it. I mean, he had a Sports Illustrated cover on him when he was in high school. They called him the next LeBron. And so he was very highly touted coming out of high school, out of the Las Vegas, Nevada area. People knew that he was coming, and he has he's not failed to live up to expectations. So he's been exceptional.
Yeah. And then the Cubs, who just seem like they won't lose. And being Pirate fans, that's the first thing I look at when I'm looking at scores, is they just don't lose.
Man, I mean, so they lose Schwarber. You think maybe that could be, difficult for them. But Dexter Fowler was a great signing for their depth. And Jake Arrieta
Throwing a no-no against the Reds on Saturday, was it?
Yeah, they lost 16-0. It was funny, you know how the teams, they like to put a positive spin on their tweets and stuff, even when they lose. So the Reds just get no hit, and their tweet says, Reds draw 4 walks and lost to the Cubs.
Be optimistic about it. Just be optimistic.
We didn't get any hits, but we drew 4 walks, and a 16-0 loss.
Yeah, that's
That was a rough one. But
that was a rough one.
Arrieta,
He's just lights out.
again, I mean, he's not coming back to earth at all. He is, continued to build upon, the incredible second half he had of last year. He's just sort of picked up where he left off.
Yeah, he hasn't missed a beat. And I think the Cubs, the lineup is just helping them out too. I noticed that Chris Bryant hit 2 home runs in that game. He's getting back to where he left off in his Rookie of the Year campaign last year. And then, like you said, Dexter Fowler and Jason Hayward are contributing a lot. I think every time I watch usually the Cubs and Pirates, sometimes they play at the same time, so I'm watching the first couple innings of the Pirate game, and then I look back to the Cubs game, see what happens. Dexter Fowler's always on base.
Yeah, I saw his batting average. He's second in the league in batting at .385. So, he's getting on base. He's hitting the ball. And so he's been a catalyst for that offense. And so, listen, the Cubs are 14-5. Everybody else in the Central is sort of around 500. They're going to be playing catch up with the Cubs all year long.
Pretty much, yeah. I can't see there's going to be a very long stretch that they cool down very much.
The Cardinals are already 3.5 behind. The Pirates 4 behind. They're already behind, and that's not going to be good. To want to be catching up against such a good team all year. So I don't. That it was a hot start. They're obviously not going to play 737 ball all year. But they might play 666. They might play. They might win 2/3 of their games and have a 100-win season. So I think that.
It's going to be a long road for the Pirates and Cardinals to catch up.
Yeah, but they're gonna one of those teams are gonna need to get hot if they're gonna want to have a chance to play with the Cubs in August and September. They don't want to get too far behind.
And I think the thing with the Pirates and Cubs, or the Cardinals, excuse me, they just need to win games that they need to win. Because lately, the Pirates have 9 losses, the Cardinals have 8 losses, and I think just looking back at some of their losses, some of those games you just gotta win. Now to start the season off, with the Cardinals, getting swept by the Pirates, I can see how that could complicate things. But even some of the other games that the Cardinals lost, it's you can't lose those games. And then the game last night, the Pirates, what was it? 13 inning,
Yeah.
13 inning, 12-10 win over the Diamondbacks. Had 3 pitchers being showcased in ways that they probably shouldn't be showcased.
Right. So Zach Greinke
pinch hits,
gets a hit,
gets it on base,
and then they pinch run Shelby Miller for him.
And they tie the game, and then Shelby Miller goes out to play left field because their shortstop Nick Ahmed got ejected.
Yeah. Neftali Feliz is pitching, gets the first guy walks, which you never want to walk the leadoff guy in extra innings especially. Nick Ahmed comes up second, 3-2 pitch is ball 4, and the runs him up, and then Ahmed's arguing with the balls and strikes. He wasn't making a lot of big gestures or anything like that. And,
he just kept talking.
And the ump had patience for a while, but then ultimately just
threw him out,
and they were out of position players. So Shelby Miller goes into left field, and
he has to play one off the wall.
So the very first batter, Josh Harrison, bangs one off the wall. I think it was Harrison.
No, Harrison was.
Oh, that was in a later inning.
No. Harrison hit one to right field, and then I think Rodriguez hit one.
Rodriguez, that's right. Rodriguez hits one off the wall. That's what it was. And so he has to, but he played it perfectly off the wall.
He acted like he'd played left field before.
And then Jonathan Neese comes in, and he is a pinch hitter, and he hits one to left field. Of course, to Shelby Miller. I think got another run in.
Yeah.
But just,
Crazy game.
they ran out of position players, 13 innings.
Paul Goldschmidt hit 2 home runs that the same guy caught in right field. One to start the game and one to tie the game in the 9th,
Yeah. And
absolutely nuts.
And Wellington Castillo, I think he said it was
his birthday.
He had a
3-run homer. He was on base I think every time until extra innings.
And I think he had 4 home runs in the series. I don't know that for sure, but I know he had a 2 home run game, and he was just cranking the ball. Yeah. And they had the roof open for the weekend series in Arizona, and the ball was like flying out. Jordy Mercer had a 460-foot home run. Gregory Polanco had a 460-foot home run. Sean Rodriguez had a 450-something foot home run, and the Rodriguez and the Polanco ones came on back-to-back pitches.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy.
They were just cranked. And then Castillo had 2 bombs in that game. So, listen, the Pirates end up with, taking 2 out of 3 in that series?
Yeah.
They probably could have won all 3 games.
They could have.
But the problem is the Pirates' pitching has been awful.
Yeah,
I think their ERA is worst in the league, 4.57 is what I saw, I think, this morning.
Yeah.
And their bullpen, which has been typically one of the top 3 in the league the past 2, 3, 4 years, has been awful. Melanson blew a save yesterday. Watson has been giving up runs. Feliz blew a save, ended up getting the win. Camanero's not been good, and so the Pirates' bullpen's been bad. I don't think it's going to be bad all year. So I think Jared Hughes is coming back. I think they're gonna get better. But man,
it's tough. It's tough to see the bullpen's not producing as
but
much.
But the other thing I saw was their batting average is best in the league. Their on base percentage is like best in the league. So their batting average, I think, is 8th best, or is 8 points better than anybody, and their on base percentage is 25 points better than anybody.
Wow.
So they're getting on base, they're scoring a lot of runs, and it's a good thing because they wouldn't be 10 or 9 if they weren't, because the pitching's been awful.
Yeah, and then so that's kind of some kind of keys to win for the Pirates there. And then what about the Astros? I was talking big about the Astros early on.
Yeah, I mean, you thought they were going to be a really good team. I thought they were too, and they've gotten off to a really bad start. I think 6-13 to start. That's not like good. I don't know that you're gonna. I mean, they got plenty of time to come back, but that's not good. That's not good. That's not good.
Yeah, and then the Orioles, they're still. I think they're still in top of the division, but after an 8-0 start, they're like. They cooled down a bunch.
Yeah, so they still lead the division. Nobody else, I thought that the Blue Jays are going to be the best team. They're sitting at 500 after 3 weeks. Nobody else has really asserted themselves. Boston is 500. Tampa and the Yankees are actually a couple games under 500 each. And so, the Orioles have been able to lead the league, and they've been able, because of their fast start, to be able to absorb, some average couple weeks after that.
Yeah, and like I said about the Orioles preseason, they're going to strike out, and that's the thing that that's going to kill them. And I think that's been getting them lately. But Chris Davis has been hitting some home runs, and I think that's kind of what's been getting them over the top.
Yeah, I think Machado's had a couple, some home runs. I think so. They're banging the ball around the park. They're just not,
tough to score runs when you're not hitting the ball. You got to put the ball in play to score a run.
Right, they're going to outslug people. That's I think
that's kind of their game plan, which is not a bad one, but it's not as reliable as you might want it to be.
No.
And then the White Sox have kind of made a motion for themselves. They're 13-6, and they're seeming hot. Like they just don't seem to want to let up.
Well, I mean, I think we both picked the Royals to win that division, and the Royals are right there after 3 weeks, a half game back. But I picked the White Sox for one of my wild cards. I don't know. I just, for some reason, I like them. I like the Todd Frazier pickup, and I think they had a pretty interesting triple play the other day.
Yeah, I like the first. Like a bunch of wild numbers. 9, 4, 3, whatever.
Yeah. So guy on, what was the guy on first?
Bases loaded.
Oh, bases loaded. That's right.
Bases loaded. Ball hit to the right
Prince
fielder.
Fielder's on third. It's a line drive, and Fielder doesn't tag, so the ball comes into the line drive's caught in right field. The guy gets it to first base. They're able to catch the guy off of first base.
Then they got the guy from second base in a rundown.
Right, because Fielder didn't go. He should have tagged up, but with all that commotion going on, Fielder's got to tag up. But he doesn't tag up, and it was plenty deep enough too. The ball was smoked, so he's got to. He just didn't play. It wasn't a good job base running.
And then they got a pickle and guy in second base, and then Fielder for some reason just starts to go.
Well, he had to go because third base was occupied.
That's true. And so he starts going, and then they just tag him out.
Yeah, that was not good base running.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy just watching the highlights of it.
Yeah.
But and then Todd Frazier's been a good pickup, and they're I think they're just putting up the runs that they need to. I mean, their pitching's been pretty good. Chris Sale, always as good as ever. You can't get too many bad starts out of him, and so White Sox are definitely going to be contending. Early over the Royals this year already. So interesting to see how they go throughout the rest of the year.
Yeah, for sure.
And then the two teams that kind of got off to the bad starts, like 0-8 starts, the Twins and the
Braves.
Braves, yes, that's right. They're kind of back. They're I think the Twins are 5-14, and then I believe the Braves. are 4-14. So still not great, but they're coming back. Just a little.
Yeah, we didn't expect the Braves to be good. We didn't think that the Phillies were going to be good, but they've started at 9-10, 500. So a little bit better than we expected.
Yeah, decent start.
We expected the Marlins to be about 500, but they've gotten off to a slow start, 6-11.
Mm-hmm.
And and again we talk about the hot start by the Nationals in the National League East. Well, then all of a sudden you find the Marlins are 7.5 games out already.
Yeah, already. Yeah, that's tough to say, especially so early on. And I think the Mets were off to a little bit of a slow start too with their with a kind of a tough series. Coming into the year with the World Series matchup, and they're a couple games behind. They're 10-7, but with the hot start of the Nationals,
Yeah, they're hot. They've been hot lately, though. You look at the Mets have won 8 of their last 10 games, so and they've needed to be to stay on pace with the Nationals. So
yeah.
The Mets, I think. Well, we both thought that the Nationals and the Mets were going to be. The two top teams, and they're starting to assert themselves in that way. We just, I think, expected the Astros, maybe the Angels, maybe the Rangers to assert themselves in the West, but nobody really has. You look at,
top two teams are the A's and the Rangers at 10-9 each. So
right.
And neither of them have been winning too many games. It's like they're 500, and that's about as far as they've gotten.
Yeah, so any one of them can start to break out. So.
And then let's see. I think the one of the interesting divisions is the West, and I think reasons of that was because the Rockies, are kind of been surprising a little bit.
Well, I think all those teams are really good. We talked about maybe the Diamondbacks could move up and be one of the teams to beat because of all the offseason moves that they made. They've gotten off to an okay start. We expected the Giants to be really good this year. They've not gotten to a great start, actually.
They had a great start, but they cooled down, almost after the first week.
About a couple of weeks, right? And then the Dodgers, we expected to be really good, and they're leading the division. So they've done okay. Colorado around 500, Padres a little bit under 500, and so they've sort of just got off into a little bit of a
kind of a
everybody's sort of in it to start.
Yeah.
The Padres a little bit not, and the Dodgers a little bit ahead, but then Arizona, Colorado, and San Francisco right in the middle.
Yeah, but like we said in the beginning of the video, it's really early. You got a lot of time to make
early.
up for this stuff.
Speaking of early, they have All-Star voting started yesterday. You know, in the technological age, is there really a purpose for starting voting in April when half of the batting averages are either going to be too low based on historical precedent or too high based on historical precedent? Or, it's like,
That's true. Yeah.
it's like, I don't know. That's sort of an old mentality, the way they used to do things when you used to get these little forms. They were sort of long and skinny, and you'd have to poke out the ones that you wanted, and they'd have a big box at the end, and you'd actually put it in. I mean, there was like literally ballots for the All-Stars. Huh. And so they had to do it that early because you're starting in April, because they had to like ship them to New York, and some, poor intern on the Scantron was putting them in to count the votes, and it's like, it's 2016, people. I think we could afford to not have to start our All-Star voting in April.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously.
Yesterday I voted, and I'm looking through the Pirates players, and I'm looking at Andrew McCutcheon's got like a 200 batting average. I'm like, he's not off to a hot start. He struck out 4 times yesterday, which was brutal. It's hard for me to watch. And it's tough to watch him. He's not seeing the ball very well, but it's April. It's still April, and he's not known for his hot starts.
No, he started really slow last year. They thought it was maybe because of an injury, but he is looking really frustrated at the plate.
Yeah, even in his last at bat last night, he took a healthy cut at one, and then he took another healthy cut at another one, and he's just not seeing the ball very well, and he's
Listen, if you strike out 4 times in a game, I don't care how many at bats you have. That's not seeing the ball well.
No,
it's not good.
No.
The rest of the power line, like we said, the power lineup leads the league, despite that, in batting average.
John Jaso's like, 5th, I think, maybe in batting average, and he's got a good batting average. He's getting on base, except for the one boo-boo a couple nights. It was last night or 2 nights ago. He had a chance to bring in some runs. He swung on a 3-0 pitch and grounded into a ground out.
Yeah, and I think the thing about the Pirates don't have a lot of power. Their leading home run guy and RBI guy is Sean Rodriguez, who's their utility guy. That's just happened to run into a couple in the last week. So,
well, he hasn't just run into a couple; he's destroyed them.
Yeah, well, he hit one off the rotunda in PNC Park, and then hit one. It was mentioned 450 something feet. So, in Arizona.
Yeah, he's seeing the ball well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I should say so.
He's getting his licks.
Well, it's Monday morning. Do you got a power rankings or anything like that? Do you want to give a top 3, top 5 power ranking for the start of the season? A lot of people do the power rankings. That's a really popular thing.
Yeah, obviously.
Do we have a Zany baseball top 5 power ranking?
All right, I'm gonna say that I'm going to go off and say that the Cubs are my number 1 power ranking. I think that they're just really into it right now. They're not seeming to slow up too much. I'm going to say the Nationals are close behind, just their fact to win games. And let's see. I guess I got to have an AL team. I guess I'll go with the White Sox. They're seeming like their pitching's holding them up, getting them to score enough runs to win ball games. They're getting through them pretty good. I think Chris Sale's, you're just going to keep on keeping on. And so I think those are my top 3, so the Cubs, the Nationals, and the White Sox.
And then do you want to go Dodgers Royals or Dodgers Orioles?
I think Dodgers Royals is probably mine.
Okay, so we're in agreement. The Zany Baseball Power Ranking top 5 of the week is Cubs, Nationals, White Sox, Dodgers, Royals.
There you go. The power is real.
All right, anything else for this week of Zany Baseball?
No, I think...
Looking forward to anything this week?
Well, I'm looking forward to a bunch of baseball games. I got a doubleheader today. Our game got moved from tomorrow, and then our redo of our rainout against Harrells resumes on Thursday. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. And
well, we better wrap it up so you can get to school.
yeah, still got life.
Thank you, Lord. New mercies every morning. All right, well, listen, from Zane and Zane, this week in Zany Baseball, it's a pleasure to have you here.
Mm-hmm.
Hope you have a wonderful week, and we'll look forward to talking more baseball with you next week.